Rob, Aimee, it is a pleasure to be speaking with both of you guys. How are you today?
Good,
Good.
thank
How
you.
are you?
Good. I'm speaking of you two. I feel like I've seen you guys before. Now,
Yeah.
in all seriousness, though, my name is Dempsey. I am a writer and a critic for a site called Cinefied, which we are covering your hilarious new film, Code 3. My first question is really one that I think anybody watching this movie will wonder is going into this, did you guys have to do any sort of extensive research? I know for movies about cops, sometimes they let directors and actors go on ride-alongs. Is there such a thing in the paramedic world? Is that something you guys had to do for research for this role?
Yeah, I mean, we got to go on a ride along, which was so cool, with the South Central Fire Department in LA, and it was like the craziest 10 hours of my life. I'll never forget it. And the idea that these folks live this every day, it's no wonder, they're burnt out because it's a lot. But we got the opportunity to do that, and that was really cool.
I didn't have to do much. I didn't want to go into a to an actual functioning ER and just be in everybody's way. So I didn't do that, but I did listen to all the stories from Amy and Rainn and folks, Christopher, and just listening to their stories about their ride-alongs, and then also just having conversations with Patrick. I felt like I got a really good taste of what that world was. Plus, they did such a great job on the script. Writing the script
Mhm.
was they did such a wonderful job. It really it was on the page, all of it.
And so that leads me to my next question. I'm assuming it's the script that both attracted you guys to this. It's almost like Kitchen Confidential for EMS workers, I think is a good way to put it. Is that how you guys would define it, or is there something else that drew you to this story besides the script? I mean, at some point, it can't be, right? Because you get to see the script is the first thing you see before you're even, introduced to the film.
Yeah, absolutely. The script, like Rob said, it's all on the page, and it's based on the experiences of Patrick, who was a real life paramedic. And so that was already like pretty amazing. But I think another thing that attracted me was the cast. Getting to work with Rainn and Laurel and Rob and just everybody. I mean, I was walking in with these like comedy sort of legends, and you're kind of like, oh God, I hope I don't shit the bed. So that was a nice challenge for me, and what a lovely experience it was. I find that comedic actors tend to be the best, the finest dramatic actors too, and I think you'll find that to be true, especially with Rainn and Rob has that wonderful scene at the end in the break room, because there's like an old saying in the theater, which is dying is easy, comedy is hard. And it's very true. I find that people that are gifted in the comedic sense are often the most gifted in the dramatic sense too.
Yeah, I will just second those emotions because they're very accurate and very articulate. It was a perfect way to put it. I took the job, one because they offered, two because the script was great, and three because the cast was amazing. Any chance I do look at the cast because I want to work with talented, wonderful people, and this was a golden opportunity to do that. Plus, I like the character and I like the movie, so. It was really a no-brainer. It was almost me begging them. So
Same.
it was a great opportunity, and I was not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. Everybody was fantastic, and everybody delivered, and everybody was a joy to work with. So it was a real blessing.
I mean, in this economy, we got to take any job that is available to us, right? Now,
100%.
Yeah.
so you guys spoke a little bit about like the sarcasm and the comedy in this movie. It's strange to me that this is a field that's actually very serious. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Cops or any of those other dramatic
Yeah.
shows. People die. This is a line of work where you might see death more than you might save somebody, truthfully. Was it hard to find a balance with the sarcasm? I know Rob, especially. I mean, your character's very sarcastic in this movie. Was that something you guys struggled with? Talk to me about that.
Well, I found that I had great empathy for my character. Now I know he's a jerk, and he's really sarcastic, and he's got a very hard edge about him. But if you work in a field, and I'm not comparing this, but I've worked in fields where the stakes are life and death. And when you work in life and death, there's just there's not much room for error. And you're also usually not by yourself. You're usually working with a team. And so you need everybody to get it right. You need everybody to be on their A game. And when they're not, you know, your friendliness goes away after a month or two, and you start just getting right to the bottom line.
Mm.
And then usually you stop using tact. That goes away about 2 months into it as well. And it just becomes harsh delivery of truth. And you really don't spare feelings anymore. So I empathize with this guy because the stakes couldn't be higher. Life and death doesn't get any higher than that. Maybe love, but the stakes don't get any higher than life and death. So I empathize with my guy because I could feel the burnout.
Mm.
Everybody in the cast, everybody's job was had burned them down to their raw essence. So that's why I took away or saw in those type of characters.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. Like Rob's character, like you said, it's just unvarnished kind of truth and emotion. Or people can go the other way, which is that gallows humor, that sort of like, oh, fuck it, nothing matters. We're just, whatever. We're clocking in, we're clocking out. We're doing our jobs, and if you live, you live. If you die, you die, and we're just gonna tell some jokes along the way, kind of thing. And I haven't, from what I've seen, the reception to the movie, or at least the anticipation for the movie among EMS workers, is kind of like, oh, fucking finally, like our job is so crazy and it's so rarely told. I think we have a lot of stories from the point of view of like ER doctors or, surgeons. And I think that those frontline responders, I in recent memory, I don't know of a show that's kind of told the people that show up first, right? Like the super underpaid, super burnt out, very highly taxed, emotionally taxing job.
Totally. I think I only have time for one more quick question. So if you guys could just sum up in one word or one sentence, what do you hope people take away from this movie?
Appreciation. Boom, nailed it. I'm out. Thanks.
Damn, yeah, I would say that too. But also some laughs, I hope.
Yes,
Appreciation and
yes, yes,
laughs.
yes, yes. Very much so.
Well, I appreciated the laughs that you guys gave me watching this movie, and I cannot wait to tell everybody I know to go see it. Rob, Aimee, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Take care.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dempsey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So my first question is for Christopher. I believe that the script is actually based on a true story. So is it your story that you're telling here, or is it someone else's? And if it is someone else's, how did it come to fruition, or how did it come across your desk?
Well, it's definitely not my experience. I mean, I'm a movie director, not a paramedic. So it's my co-writer, Patrick, who lived it. Like just every call in the movie is based on a call that he really ran. But his brother, who I worked with for a long time, his brother Paul Pianezza, wanted me to read the script. And when you're a filmmaker, people always want to bring you stuff. And I was like, I don't really want to read it. But he said, it's a comedy about paramedics, and his brother is a paramedic. And that fascinated me. And the fact that Patrick's original take was as a comedy was really interesting to me, because that he saw comedy as the way to tell the truth and to reveal what the job really is, because we all think we know what the job is and we don't. So that was the beginning of it. And then we just started developing it together and try to make a movie that showed what the job of a paramedic really is.
This film really reminded me of like Kitchen Confidential, but like in the world of EMTs, which I thought was really great. Rainn, you did a great job as always. But what drew you to this particular story, this character? Was it something other than the lovely script that Chris spoke about?
I met with one of the producers, Matt Smith, about a different project, and he was like, you're not really right for this project. But he goes, but the script just got turned in by Chris Leone, and I think you're really right for it. Will you give it a read? And I opened up the script. It was a mammoth tome. It was like 180 pages or something like that. Normally a script is 110, 120. But I couldn't put it down. It was so funny and memorable. And I was like, what do you cut? I mean, it's all so good. It was like they say in writing that you have to kill your darlings, and we worked on the script a lot for a good year, and we had to cut let's cut the scene where Randy goes and brings noodles to the old Chinese man that he visits every night. Oh, it's a beautiful scene, but it just doesn't advance the plot. It doesn't help tell the story. There's 5 pages gone. Oh, what about this one? It was over and over again doing that. But what didn't I love about it? I mean, listen, it's really hard to write a good script. It's really hard to write an entertaining script. And what's really hard is to write a good and entertaining script that is also about something. That is a very, very rare beast. So this is really pulling the veil back on the American healthcare system, on income inequality, on racial issues in a really unique way that you haven't seen before, while being a popcorn movie at the same time. And that was the clincher for me.
Was the location important to the story as well? I feel like obviously this role is important in every community in America, but having it film or take place near LAX, do you think that's pivotal to why the story is so effective? And I leave the door open for both of you to answer.
No, I would say, I mean, that weaves its way into the movie, right? Like wherever we were shooting, I knew the city would find its way into the movie. And so by shooting around LAX, even at the hospital we were shooting at, was right in the path of the LAX runway. So as we were shooting, you're getting planes going back and forth. So eventually it was like, that's actually a really interesting thing to integrate in the movie, and it plays a big role at the end. But yeah, I mean, how often do we get to shoot Los Angeles for Los Angeles these days? And it was great. It was like, kind of like hometown movie that way.
And Chris, I think you've also been on the record, you can correct me if I'm wrong, saying that you couldn't have done this movie without Rainn. Is that true?
100%.
Speak to, yeah.
Well, okay. So I was already a huge Rainn Wilson fan long before this. And I loved him in Super, I loved him in 6 Feet Under, and I loved him in The Office, and I was always fascinated by his portrayal of Dwight Schrute, especially as I knew the English Office, and Dwight added this element of danger to the role that I was completely fascinated by. I have whole theories on that, but so I knew he had this incredible range and this ability to kind of add all these layers, especially to a comedic character that was just far deeper. There's a reason that Dwight Schrute is one of the most iconic characters in television history. So no, when Rainn was interested in the script, I knew that was a perfect fit. And then as we worked together, as we developed the script together, I think it grew even more into his voice. So yeah, no, it was a dream cast that way. I mean, I knew the whole cast had to be comedic actors that could go to the dark side, and when Lil Rel joined up, I mean, Lil Rel is so funny. He's hilarious and he's funny in the movie, but he has a couple really dramatic scenes that I think are amazing. So, yeah, no, it was a joy.
And Rainn, this, as you spoke about this movie, it's about a world that is not often appreciated, but it's also it's a comedy, but there's a lot of sarcasm in it. How was it treading that line? You want to make sure that you highlight the best parts of this job that people don't get to see, but you also don't want to make too much fun of it, and you don't want to poke fun at some of the dark parts too much. Was that a hard line for you to toe?
Well, what we wanted to capture is the reality of EMS workers, because it is at turns hysterical and absurd, and it is at turns tragic. But it's both. And that's what I love about this film. One scene is hysterical, and just laugh out loud, almost farcically funny. And the next scene, someone's dying. And that's the reality for frontline workers. And that's what we wanted to capture, is both extremes.
And I think you guys both did a wonderful job. That is all the time that I had today. I want to thank you guys for, sticking with me and my so-so mic here. But I cannot wait to tell everybody I know to go check out this film, because I do think it is wonderful. And I cannot wait to see what both of you guys do next, either together or separate. Take care.
Thank you, Dempsey. Sign me up for any Chris Leone film. We're on out.
Yeah, me too, man. I'll do any Rainn Wilson project ever.
Okay.